week in the kitchen. This week we're going to do a Tex-Mex favorite called Frito pie. In fact, I make mine as a Frito pie casserole instead of serving it back in the bag. Everybody just takes it out of a casserole dish. Yeah, pretty much a staple favorite for nearly everyone who likes Fritos and taco salads. So let me get everything set up and we'll jump right in. Went ahead and decided to film this on the opposite side of the stove. First off, you want to heat your pan over medium-high heat and go ahead and brown about 1 pound to 1.25 pounds of ground beef. So while we're browning that, we're going to go ahead and throw in 1 onion chopped and 2 poblano peppers chopped up. You want to chop them in nice cubes. You'll find we'll go ahead and add those to the meat. And while that's browning, we'll go ahead and pause here and we're back in a little bit. Alright, while that's browning, let's go ahead and fill you in on other ingredients. You want to take 2 tomatoes and chop them fine. A can of kidney beans and a can of corn. Go ahead and drain those. And a can of tomato sauce. Seasoning wise, you want to do a tablespoon of chili powder or mesquite seasoning if you would like. I'm using mesquite. A packet of taco seasoning, which asks for about 2/3 a cup of water. Of course, I'm not going to use water. I am going to use beer. And finish off the rest for myself. So you have all those ingredients. That's what you need to cook. Also, you need a medium-sized bag of Fritos and about 1 pound about 1 pound of Mexican cheese. Suggested toppings: guacamole, sour cream, and cut green onions. So let this finish up browning and then we'll be back in a bit. Another tip while I'm browning this meat, I use poblano peppers because I prefer the flavor of those. You can use fresh jalapenos chopped up, you can use fresh chilies chopped up, or you can get the Rotel tomatoes with the chilies in it. And make sure you get the medium can for that. Don't get the small one. So if you do the Rotel tomatoes, then don't worry about chopping up tomatoes. So I went ahead and removed all the fat and drippings and located this to a larger pan because the pan I had started to get a little bit too small. So for right now, I am going to stir in the taco seasoning and the mesquite. Add in the beer and let that come to a boil. There we go. Might end up adding a little bit more beer, but for right now that should be enough. You want this to kind of come to a rolling boil and then thicken up and reduce down. You want the beer liquid to actually boil off a little bit. So let me give this a good mix, let it boil down for a little bit, and we'll be back in a moment. Alright, now we come to a little bit of a boil here. I'm going to add some dried cilantro. This is optional. A lot of people don't like cilantro because it tastes like soap to them. I don't know why it tastes like that, but I've always really enjoyed cilantro. I prefer fresh, but we'll throw about a tablespoon on there, about a half a tablespoon actually, and stir that in. As you can see, it's starting to become a little thicker, so I'm going to go ahead and drop the temperature down to a simmer, probably about a 1 or 2 out of 10. My stove is set up in increments of 2 from low up to 10, so I put it between 1 and 2, or low and 2. So at this point, you want to go ahead and add your tomato sauce. You want to go ahead and add your diced tomatoes. And you want to go ahead and add your beans and corn. Go ahead and give that a stir and give it a good mix. I really don't like using metal spoon with my cast iron, but right now I don't have anything at the moment. My wooden spoon that I did have ended up cracking, so I went ahead and got rid of it, and I will try to get myself a new wooden spoon. Like I said, give this a good mix, make sure it's well incorporated. And you're going to want to let it simmer covered for about, I don't know, 15 minutes. When I say covered, slightly covered, because you want some of the moisture to escape. But you want this to simmer for about 15 minutes or so. So I have a lot of tomato on one side there. This is fresh tomato and not canned tomato. I prefer to chop my own tomatoes. Canned tomato just doesn't taste the same as fresh chopped tomatoes. Go ahead and flatten that off like so. And partially cover it. Just leave one side a little cracked. Right there. And let it sit for about 15 minutes. Don't touch it. And in about 15 minutes, we'll be right back. Alright, so now I moved over to the other side. The meat mixture with the beans and corn. Let me move the camera so you can see. It is pretty well thickened up and ready to go. I went ahead and turned that off, gave it a good mix. Alright, now I have the oven preheating to about 350. I have a medium-sized bag of corn chips, Fritos of course. I'm trying to see the net weight on this. 9 1/4 ounces. You're going to want to put at least half the bag, pour it onto the bottom of the pan. Let me cut this open real quick. proving a lot easier just to cut the bags open instead of trying to finagle with them with the one hand here. So we will put a layer of half the bag on the bottom. Go ahead and layer it out nice and even. So what I have is an 8-ounce bag of cheese. You want to take half of that, go ahead and sprinkle over this. So 4 ounces or a cup. Go ahead and spread it out nice and even. And that's the first part of your mixture. You want to go ahead and take all of your meat mixture and then transfer it to the top. So give me a few moments. I'm going to use a slide spoon to make sure it drains off all the moisture. You don't want too much of the moisture on there, so let me change spoons here. And of course I grabbed the wrong thing. So you want to make sure you let it drain before you transfer it over, and you want to kind of evenly spread it out. So let me go ahead and do that, and we'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so with your mixture in the pan over top of the layered cheese and Fritos, you want to go ahead and add the rest of your cheese. Just cover with the rest of the cheese. Make sure it goes on fairly even. The problem with these bags is if you have a big hand, it becomes kind of difficult for you because your hand's a little bit too large for the bag. So you end up having to pour it out, and it doesn't come out as evenly as you want it to. So, oven's already up to 350. We are going to go ahead and put this in the oven for about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so, until the cheese is fully melted and starting to brown on top. And when it comes out, we'll top with the roasted chips and serve with our optional items on top. So we'll be back in a bit. So after about 20 minutes, I went ahead and pulled the pie out. It's pretty much ready. You want to take the rest of the bag of Fritos. Go ahead and spread them. There we go. And I usually kind of mash them down in there a little bit. That was a little warm. I actually felt that. And usually what I do is I'll cut some green onions over the top. Let me cut off the ends a little bit. All right. So, take a pair of scissors. I usually take meat scissors and just go ahead and cut them up a little bit. kind of a garnish. It does add a little bit of flavor to it. We'll end up putting sour cream on it and some guacamole when we serve it. You can put more on here if you want to. You can put less on. You can just skip it if you want to. And this part is actually optional. Everything here from now on is optional. There we go. So I'm going to let that sit for a little while and cool down, and I'll go ahead and serve it and take pictures. So if you enjoy what you see, please hit that like button. And as always, if you try my recipes, please let me know how it turns out for you. And until next time, have a great week and a great weekend. And we'll see you next week.